A lot of people have become invested in and fascinated by the Wade Wilson case. Something about his ridiculous appearance and this whole Deadpool comparison and his calls from jail that are just so vile and bizarre and disgusting have got us all watching as though this were a soap opera or something. But the more that I've listened to his calls, the more pissed off that I get because he has a whole fan club of women that are called the Wade Wilson wives. These women are lowest of the low, so pathetic, the epitome of pick me. They've all sort of advocated on his behalf, some of them even being married. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna expose all of these crazy ass hoes, let you guys know their names and everything that I could find about them. Let's not forget that there were two actual victims in this case, one being Diane Ruiz and the other one being Christine Melton. And Diane was a mother, and we got to see the victim statement of her child, which absolutely broke my heart. So I don't know what is wrong with these women. I do think that these women have deviant type of interest when it comes to their romantic preferences, because some of the things that he was discussing in the phone calls were just so out there and so vile. And a channel that has been reporting on this very well is Phone Calls from Prison, and there's 3 calls that are hosted on their Patreon which show the extent of his depravity and how weird these women are. This is allegedly the German lady that Wade Wilson was communicating with and had some of the more spicier phone calls. And this woman sinks to such a low, demeaning herself. It's unbelievable. She clearly has no self-esteem. I will try to show a small clip. I'm technically not supposed to because of YouTube, so I just picked one small sentence and you can leave the rest to your imagination. While typically I would not condone kink shaming, in this case I do, and I hope that this woman feels ashamed every day of her life because we've all heard this, and this is just next level cringe and next level pathetic. Kind of like some of the videos that people have created on TikTok, those are as well cringe, but this just goes into disgusting territory, and I don't know what is wrong with this woman, but I think she needs a psychiatric evaluation because this is not normal.
Because when I lose you, it's like, holy just lost him again. And then I couldn't even get on the kiosk, and I get on, and I'm like, oh, he's not even on there anymore. So, but I don't want you to have doubts. What do I have to do? I'm trying to make our relationship okay.
Wade also stated on his phone calls that he wanted to insert his Peter deep in the orifice or where the sun doesn't shine of an old man that sounded like he was on his deathbed. And this individual is named Joey. I think that Wade was definitely more warm and soft with him. It seems like he's definitely used to being with men, as he was in a LGBT relationship prior to this, and he apparently made it very public. And he also tried to unalive this person that he was with, who was this pretty boy, blonde, very feminine. Wade is just going back to what he's used to and feels comfortable with. I think the fact that he hates women so much shows that maybe there is this self-conflicted thing going on with him. I don't know. It just makes these women seem more unhinged. They are absolute lunatics and hoe bags. While Wade Wilson was waiting for death row, he was on an unaliving type of watch where he could only shower once a week, he couldn't have canteen, he couldn't have his courtroom clothes, and he could not be on the kiosk or text. So another woman swooped in to help him, and she's the one that manages his GoFundMe page. She goes by Marie or Jessie, and this woman is as well married, and she is a professional woman. It seemed like she had a job in upper level management, so I can't imagine why this woman said that she wanted to move close to the prison and was calling Wade Wilson baby. Something is just very off about this.
Another way to help out your community is to watch what your children are doing on social networks like Facebook and Twitter. Spend more time with your friends or loved ones if they seem down. Strangers shouldn't be the people they talk to for comfort, especially ones without faces.
I'm like, my heart is fucking racing right now. Like,
yeah, listen,
you're okay though otherwise, my love? You're okay?
Well, yeah, otherwise, yeah, because it doesn't make sense because, oh, you're only going to let me use the phone once a week on Friday. Oh, you're only going to let me fucking take one shower a fucking week. I don't get to eat no food. I can't fucking text. I can't call, and I'm not in trouble. But you're saying, what the fuck kind of shit is that? You can't, like, violate my rights. You can't, like, fucking, this is, like, cruel. It's going to become a thing where it's, like, becomes cruel and unusual, like, punishment. Like, absolutely.
Okay,
so,
well,
there's like a lot of shit
I'm going to contact who I need, so...
Hubby, my guy, leave, run, and never look back because this lady is crazy and this is definitely an affair. This is not going to get better. I cannot understand, I cannot fathom why this woman is so invested in Wade Wilson and calling him love and all of these things. Clearly, this is not platonic. Something wrong is happening here. She should also be ashamed of herself because this is absolutely disgusting. She should listen to the call with the German woman and the calls with Joey to see for herself who she's condoning. And I've seen people on TikTok talk about how he has sad eyes and he seems like he's such a gentle soul, and this is all projection on their part because they want to believe that this M-word person is somehow just wounded and they just had a terrible upbringing. But as we all saw, the father was extremely kind and he was raised by a good family and always taken care of. So there's really no excuse for his actions and what he did to his victims. And it's shocking that today we have such women walking around in society and they get to hold good jobs like this Jessie individual. Another woman that people were extremely confused by because it seems like the purple hair is prevalent in Wade's life was this chick who is actually named Alexis, and I guess she was engaged to Wade somehow and they had all these romantic communications. They would write to each other, he would send her his things, but then I guess she couldn't handle the heat because she told him that she was done with him and she told the viewers that she supposedly burned his things and that he is a true sociopath narcissist. People were like, there's just multiple meth looking purple hair chicks, not to be confused with this kiosk Kristen chick who was just absolute trash and she's a mother. Kiosk Kristen was engaged in criminal activity herself and acting as though she was a paralegal for Wade, telling him, oh, they can't hold you. And she had this horrible smoker's voice, but Wade was saying, oh, you sound so sexy, baby. You sound like a phone operator. It's like, no, she doesn't. She sounds like somebody that's had a lot of mileage and has lived an extremely rough life. I guess YouTubers covering her completely affected her life, and she was claiming that her son is being bullied and she just wants to escape the spotlight. It's been 5 years, blah blah blah. And apparently there are some phone calls with this chick that got even more inappropriate and brutal, talking about kids, and content creators chose not to post those phone calls because it would absolutely ruin the lives of her children. And I don't know what Kiosk Kristen is doing today. It seems like she's trying to defend herself, but the damage has already been done. She's sort of like the cool pick-me type, like, oh yeah, I'm totally good with you talking to other chicks if it's just about money, blah blah blah. She's unemployed. Her daughter had to get her an attorney. It's just a complete mess. He attracts the most trashy people, lowest of the low. Kristen also had the audacity to disrespect Christine Melton, who was one of Wade's victims and looks better than Kristen will ever look. And also Wade was confused calling Christine Kristen, and his father said that it didn't look good at all. Of course it doesn't. He can't even remember his victim's name. All he can think about is the kiosk and the money that he wants to get. Alexis just dumped Wade because she's your typical junkie and she's not gonna stand by anybody really if it doesn't benefit her. I think that she romanticized him in her mind, and she did state that he's an extremely insecure man, and we have heard that he has a tiny Peter. But she went on live on TikTok and talked about how she burned his belongings.
He's a very insecure man. Doesn't seem like he is. He hides it very well. He never can control me. That wasn't a thing. I fight back, I talk back, I don't give a fuck. I can defend myself. I burned all of his shit in the letters. So, like a box, 2 boxes full of letters. He's a narcissistic sociopath textbook.
Finally, all of these women wrote to the judge in order to give him some leniency in terms of his sentencing. There were a ton of names that were listed, and some of them seem like perhaps they just had personal beliefs about the death penalty. They thought it was a bit too extreme or too permanent, but there were some women that were like, oh my god, he's so close to my heart and he's so special to me. And one of these women was this lady who is a wife with 2 boys that lives in Canada. Another one of these women that came under fire was his ex-girlfriend Mila, who owns a spa called Mila Spa, where a lot of people left reviews saying that Mila is trashy and she smells like fish, and I believe this is because of Wade, because she never had bad reviews previously. A lot of people think that Mila is just as sick as Wade is because of the things that she said on the phone calls and the fact that she calls him daddy. But it does seem like she contributed to his arrest and to him not harming any more people. But she has dealt with so much backlash from this. And I don't think that that's fully fair or warranted, because she was clearly in a DV type situation, which took a lot of mental energy to sort of walk away from and try to resolve with the police. She was testifying for the state. I think that Mila is definitely weird and she's definitely not the best person. How she also talked about the victims, although she did show more compassion. But Mila is just in line with Wade's type, which is typical strung out weird kind of people. The fact that anybody would be interested in this face tattooed, broken teeth weirdo who is this level of depraved is highly concerning to me, because he's never gonna change and he's never gonna be a good person despite what they think. And I hope that these women get shamed for it, because this is not right. And I know that this phenomenon exists, but that still does not make it okay. We should not glorify people who unalive others and cause this level of suffering and torment. I'm very curious what you guys think about all this, or if there's any Wade wives that I've actually missed. I go by Ultra, and this is my backup channel, Wild Ideas Media. Please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, and I'm so thankful that you stopped by. Please engage with the video so that we can grow this channel. Bye, guys.